You know, I often use these Saturday nights to watch various movies, sci-fi, horror, comedy. Sometimes you just need to really just put the reality back in yourself when you just watch a movie and you're just like, that was intense, that was sobering. It was just crazy seeing Platoon with many stars. Winner of 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Directing. Platoon is a harrowingly realistic war film based on director Oliver Stone's first-hand experience and a dark, unforgettable memorial. The Washington Post to every soldier whose innocence was lost in the war-torn jungles of Vietnam. Starring Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe, and Charlie Sheen, Platoon is a powerful, riveting, and starkly brutal tale of American soldiers descend into the chaos of horror and war. I mean, what do you say to Charlie Sheen's breakout role? Yes, this is the same guy who refers to his beauty as goddesses. He says by winning, and was in 2.5 Men. But I mean, it's just, what do you say to such a visceral movie? And Oliver Stone, when he was in Vietnam, he wrote a semi-autobiographical tale called Break, if I'm not mistaken. He tried to get that financed for a long time, but because many companies considered it to be the antithesis of what John Wayne movie, not Apocalypse Now, that kind of glorified the war. This one was just more of what was really going on, and so they kind of rejected it. Eventually, Stone did manage to was going to contact the Doors, produce some music for it, and almost got Jim Morrison to play the lead, but when Morrison passed on, the script was found in Paris where he was, but eventually got made after getting through everything. And I mean, what can you say? A man that's torn between a fresh recruit to Vietnam, 18, 22 years old, something like that. He was torn between two ideals of being a sensitive, hanging out and, smoking some marijuana, or being the real brute, being the brutal one when a village is maybe harboring some North Vietnamese, he just goes around and just antagonizes them. That is surprisingly Willem Dafoe as the one Tom Berenger, who plays Barnes, who is just this this guy is just sadistic. That's just beyond following the orders. There's also his counterpart Elias, played by Willem Dafoe, who himself usually plays a villain, as seen in Streets of Fire, where he looks like he was as I described, a fisherman who got a makeover at a gay bar. But now here he is hanging out with the troops and being sympathetic and everything, and it's just with his ideals of being laid back, and it's still taking the job seriously, but still keeping yourself in reality. And then Tom Berenger, I've heard of that name. He plays the villain Barnes, and he gives a speech saying you gotta be the machine, because if the machine breaks down, then we break down, or whatever it was. I think that speech alone got him an Academy Award nomination for Academy Award or an Oscar. And it's just they play different roles, which it's just what do you say? Everything is just, it's when they're kind of hanging out on this little base area, and Chris Taylor, Charlie Sheen, kind of takes a whiff of, I'm guessing, marijuana or something like that. That's kind of funny, and it's the only lightheartedness that there is. Or I'm not gonna do anything, but you can tell that this also reflects all the drug usage that was going on, the cocaine, all the horrors that go on of just guerrilla warfare. It wasn't like civilized war that was going on in World War One and Two. I mean, even with mustard gas and the Christmas trees, this is a different breed of war, and it takes its toll on everyone. I mean, there's what the scene where Barnes is antagonizing the village, and just the way how he goes on, just the nastiness that he has, man. And he eventually, I'm going to spoil it, he eventually orders that the entire compound just be eviscerated. It's just like, what? Just like, wow. Just kind of brutalizes one of the people. And then eventually the leader later goes on to the leader saying, "You are hiding the North Vietnamese Army, the NVA, if I'm not mistaken." Kills the wife, antagonizes the kids, and they just haul them out of there, presumably to a camp. I don't know. Just that scene, that was truly just terrifying. And eventually Barnes will find out that Elias was aware of what's going on, and it leads to just the tense scene where Barnes becomes an even bigger schmuck and neutralizes Elias, and it's just like, yeah, just, I don't know what to say. I really don't. There's also the realistic fights with all the firepower and everything about like the skirmishes and ambushes that go on about like an hour and 18 minutes in, where there's like where like the NVA is coming in and they're just annihilating everything, and eventually we see Elias come out, who's badly wounded, and he just falls, and truly a real I guess I want to say Shakespearean way, but a real cinematic way. And of course, Taylor knows that Barnes was behind because of the brutality from the village earlier, and those two get in a skirmish, and it's, you just look at it, and just alone the camera work, just the one take that goes on, the getting the push dagger and say, "Hey, don't do it, Barnes," leaves a little scar like right there as a memento, I guess. And then, I mean, then there's the conclusion where it's just it's just annihilation. There's hundreds of NVA troops that are just coming out. There's fire everywhere. There's beacons. There's claymores. There are remote detonated devices that are put in trees that push of a button, they detonate, and several people are killed. It's like it really is an intense climax. It's like, it's not like how it is, like, it's even funny. I mean, it's serious. It's real. There's action. Everything's just ablaze. People are dying, and I mean, I think there were like, when in the aftermath, 500 bodies or something were discovered. It was either 500 bodies of the NVA and the Americans together or something like that, just to give you an idea. But there's also just like when he awakens, Taylor finds Barnes, says, "Yeah, go ahead and do it." Rightfully, Barnes does get exactly the karmic justice that he deserves, and it's just, eventually one of the lackeys of Barnes, I think O'Neill, is promoted to be the leader, and he's just like, "Oh, wait, what?" So I guess that was kinda, I got a chuckle. It's like, yeah. But yeah, just seeing it, just how they just toss the body and just throw it into the mass grave, have this giant, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking, just the way how Boodle just pushes the bodies into this mass grave. Disturbing imagery all around. It really, it's like, just shows the brutality of war. It's not glorifying it. Is it an anti-war message? Could be. Depends on how you look at it. It just, I don't know. Like all those names mentioned, Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, Willem Dafoe, all given stars, really great performances. I have to go with Tom Berenger as arguably the star, and then Charlie Sheen when he's feeling conflicted with the voiceover and trying to eliminate Barnes, like when they're back at the barracks, I guess. Yeah, I think the word is barracks. It's just, oof, yeah, a truly dramatic role before he went on 2.5 Men, and just absolutely insane. No, it's like gets torn and conflicted about war. It's like, yeah, I myself am anti-war. I've seen you got to go back in the past and learn to see like what were the reasons for the war. Like what was it with Korea? It was like rubber for producing tires with like Fordtopia or something. I don't know. Vietnam, same thing where the oil-rich countries are. Never, and I mean bloody ever, trust what a politician says when it comes to war. I'm like, don't trust any single of them. They're just like, I'm not. It's like, just don't trust politicians. That's all I'm going to say. As far as I'm concerned, they're all scuzzballs of the highest order. Fuck them. Yeah, dang sure I just said that. So I'm like, that's what happens when we listen to politicians. Just, I don't know. Sometimes you just need to see the brutality of war just to understand really what's going on. And actually help out the veterans, like, rather just for the parade and everything. You have to understand. You learn from those who've experienced it and try and get them the help and counseling that they need. And sometimes, you really just need to watch something that just makes you just realize just how awful warfare is, just for reasons to make politicians rich. That richer, that too is brought up. I guess if there's anything, supposedly, like, there were some black soldiers who were just seen as kind of like for comedic relief, and yeah, that has not aged well. It's like they have, kind of just like, was it smoking and just being goofy and not contributing much. That's probably like the one thing that has not aged well. So just keep that in mind when you're watching Platoon.